This is going to get bad, but not for the reasons you think. So the FDA announced a week ago maybe that the bird flu will eliminate 1 in 4 people. Now keep in mind, guys, that the bird flu hasn't really affected humans yet. It affected one guy, and I think it's killed 1 or 2 people around the world. And that was direct contact from a chicken to human. But the strain or the variant that's here in the United States hasn't affected enough humans for them to sit there and make this kind of accusation, to make this guess, if you will, that it's going to kill 1 in 4 Americans. Now that's pretty high numbers. And why is the FDA making that announcement? Why isn't it the CDC? So this, guys, makes you think that there's definitely something going on, or they have something planned if the FDA is making this comment, if you will. Now, one thing that I do recognize is the reason why the FDA is getting involved is probably because of the arm ticket that they're looking to release for the bird flu. So if that is the case, if they are looking to release one as soon as possible, this is why they're stepping in and making these findings, if you will. The problem with the next arm ticket that comes out, guys, is that most people will not take it unless this next pandemic is super scary and starts killing a whole lot of people, which this sounds like it will, according to the FDA. Now, I'm not worried about it on any level. I don't even give a shit if it really does knock out 1 in 4 people. I can care less. If this thing is real and it's definitely going to start affecting people, I'm going to do what needs to be done to protect myself. But that's a different story. But what's more interesting is the fact, again, that the FDA made this mention and that they are already working on an arm ticket for something that hasn't even happened yet, and they don't know which variant is going to hit the United States or the world for that matter. So you have to start thinking, is this another game that they're playing? That they're going to release a new arm ticket? They're going to release more rules, regulations, and restrictions to keep people in check. In fact, I think that if this does wind up being the next pandemic, though it doesn't matter which pandemic is next, if this winds up being the next event, there's going to be stronger and stricter restrictions, lockdowns. And the lockdowns are the more important thing. Forget about the disease itself. It's the lockdowns that they're looking to implement, and they're probably going to implement harder restrictions, making things a lot worse, making movement a lot worse, a lot restricted. Before, with Mr. 19, they just used fear to keep people in their homes. And for those of you that remember my videos, when I was out and about, there was barely anybody in the streets because they used fear to keep people in their homes. I think this time around, people are not going to buy into that fear, and there's going to be more people in the streets, and they're going to have to do something really off the cuff to keep people in their homes. And maybe that is amp up the number of people that are actually passing away. I think with Mr. 19, the amount of people that were passing away were just the same amount of people that would pass away from a bad flu season. So, of course, when you keep the numbers of people, there is a side of me that think they lied about the number of people that passed away. I don't wholeheartedly believe those numbers because I knew one person personally that died from Mr. 19, but the amount of people they were saying were passing away would have been like, we all would have known at least 20, 30 people apiece that died. And that wasn't the case. So I think they fluffed the numbers a lot. That's not the point. The point is that they're going to scare more people into taking the arm ticket. And this arm ticket, as it's been worked on, if I'm not mistaken, for a little over a year or two right now, still doesn't have the data it needs to be released. But With the FDA stepping in and making their comments, the FDA is going to make that happen like they did with the Mr. 19 arm ticket. The bird flu arm ticket, I think, is going to be a lot more potent, and there's going to be a lot more problems behind it. So, for those of you that are going to take it because your job is going to be on the line yet again, you're going to have to do some thinking. You're going to have to figure out a way, guys, how to not take this arm ticket. Because there is no way, guys, on God's green earth that this arm ticket is going to be better and safer. There just isn't. There's not enough data to tell us how safe it is. So, guys, this is where things get bad, or could get bad. The restriction on people or the movement of people, like I just mentioned, but the food, that's the more important part. That's the more, I guess, diabolical part, because the FDA is now involved making a statement. They're looking at cows that are now infected with it. They're looking at all of these birds that we eat infected with it, and I could see them restricting food and making it harder for us to get protein to eat. Enter in the bugs. Now, of course, a lot of you guys have been reading articles about different countries that are looking to start supplementing bug meat or bug protein with meat. And so, of course, guys, if cows are getting infected with the bird flu, the milk is being infected with bird flu, I could see them turning around and going, all right, they're going to start restricting milk, they're going to start restricting meat. And we're going to see a lot less meat on the shelves, a lot less milk on the shelves, a lot less products that we eat, like eggs and things like that, on the shelves. And prices are going to skyrocket even higher. And that's where the bad part comes in. Because if we have another run on the supermarket like we did with Mr. 19, you're going to see people fighting in the streets or in the supermarket over the last piece of whatever it is, ribeye or New York strip or chicken thigh, for that matter. Now, for a lot of you guys that have your own farm, you don't have anything to worry about. But for those of us that actually have to go to the supermarket or join a box club where they sell different meats or different types of meat, being a membership, that is going to be the bigger problem, because a lot of us guys are still relying on a supermarket, where a lot of you other guys are relying on yourselves. You have your own meat, you have your own cow, whatever it is, whatever you're raising, you have your own of. For people like us, we don't have that option, and we have to go to the supermarket and get that meat. Now, again, that could be a bigger problem that a lot of people are not speaking of, and that's the restriction of food. That's the bigger problem. That's the more concerning problem. Forget everything else. Forget about the people passing away. Forget about the people passing away. The arm ticket, the restriction of people moving, like lockdowns, and food, those are the three big things that I see coming with the next pandemic. And I know it's heartless for me to say, oh, forget about the people. I mean, listen, I wasn't like, oh my God, 16,000 people passed away from Mr. 19. I didn't care. I didn't know them. I had other shit to worry about. We are going to have bigger things to worry about should this next event turn into what I'm hoping it doesn't turn into. Because if it does, guys, we have a lot of problems. Not to mention the arm ticket that can eliminate more people. That's a lot of big issues other than the actual pandemic itself. Anyway, guys, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching the Angry Prepper channel.